Welcome back to Real Not Rehearsed, where we say what people think but don't say out loud. I'm your host, Dominique.
It's your boy Big Lotto in the building.
And today we have
Ikenna, the model.
Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, welcome on up high. Let's go.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Man, I'm based in Dallas. I'm a runway model and I run a car rental company. So we pretty much give out cars to gig workers, people that need a source of income and they're struggling with where they are. We set them on the right path to be profitable.
Okay, nice. Like that.
Do you have any other fashion shows that you got coming out next month or so that we should be on the lookout for?
As of right now, no, I'm mainly working on my portfolio to get signed to an agency around town. But I'll keep you all posted when the big news comes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely keep us posted. I think you're going to get signed as soon because you already look like you're a fashion person leading the way in society. So
yeah.
Today's topic, we're going to talk about honesty.
Ooh.
Yes.
Honesty is the policy. Okay.
So I'm glad you're here. By the way, what does honesty mean to you? Like real honesty.
Tell us the truth.
To me, real honesty means trusting yourself. You know, so a lot of times when people hear about honesty, we're really much thinking about lies and truth. But like, I feel like real honesty starts like within, when you can, you know, trust who you say you are, what you say you do. Mm-hmm. And also by trusting yourself, people are gonna, you know, feel that energy from you because it's from within.
What happens if you don't trust yourself though?
When you don't trust yourself, you can't be loyal.
Right, to anyone, right? You can't be loyal to yourself or anyone that you're dating or your family or friends. I like that perspective. Do you think that many people are actually honest with themselves?
Are you honest with yourself?
Right, are you honest with yourself?
There's different demographics of people, right? And I would say like honesty means different things to different people. Like for example, if you were with your child and, you know, God forbid, like there's a burglar, you know, you might not have the time to start explaining to your child, hey, this is what a burglar is and things like that. You might be like, okay, let's play a game, keep quiet, dial the situation down, you know. But at the end of the day, I would ask you guys, was that a lie?
No.
From the parent's side towards the child to protect the child.
But is that really the honesty that I guess we're speaking of? Because there is, like you said before, a form of honesty where you're displaying truth in communication. But I think the honesty we're trying to get down to is more of internal. Like, are you being honest with who you are as an individual? Are you being honest to the people around you and saying who you are as a person? And is that honesty even really putting you in a position in life to where people can not only trust your word, but trust who you are as an individual? Mm-hmm. And also getting you where you want to be at in life. With that being said, do you think that people are being honest with themselves on the inside?
Technically, I don't, because of what a lot that I've seen on social media.
Social media has been a big factor again.
Yeah,
right.
That's the
once again.
Social media is messing up society so bad, but we're all perpetrators of it. We're all involved in it.
So for me, there's a very thin line these days between honesty and, you know,
intuition?
Not necessarily, more like being a mirror, like honesty and your packaging. Back home, I'm Nigerian.
Okay.
So something we say back home is like, never look like your situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We said it over here too.
You know,
right?
Don't look like what you've been through.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's kind of it's a very thin line when I talk about like social media honesty and like who we really are, like when we're with our friends, when we're with our family, when we're with our loved ones as a whole. So I do feel like the term honesty has evolved over the years, but if you're just talking about like internal honesty, to me that still personally boils down to like trusting yourself, because especially us men, we go through so many different stages in life where it's like, okay, I know this is the person I want to be, but this is the only type of person I know how to be.
Right.
Ooh, I like that you said that,
You know?
because that is a very real statement. Love that so much.
Right.
I guess let's piggyback off of that before we ask the next question, because I love that you said that. Why is it that men are having such a hard time pulling away from who they know how to be? You know, why are they having such a hard time creating a new version of themselves?
Because we don't have teachers anymore.
Right.
And that's pretty deep. But at the end of the day, we're the containers, right? And everybody around us is the liquid, especially like the women we keep around us, our kids. So it's up to us to literally hold it down, no matter how things sway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we can't let it overflow. And sometimes that
Gotta keep pushing through.
Yeah, that overflowing comes in form of holding everybody together and putting your feelings, your emotions, whatever you think or feel at the time behind in order to cater to the people in front of you.
Yeah.
I just feel like I disagree with that. A lot of you can chime in on it, but I honestly have a hard time as a female who has been in a dating world accepting that as being the truth. I feel like men should be able to express and put their feelings first, right? Because you should put yourself first in any situation. Otherwise, everybody falls. Right? Not just yourself, but even the people you care about. They're going to fall short of what you can really give them if you put your emotions behind. You need to put your emotions in the front. You need to be honest with yourself so that you could create a good, safe space for everybody else that you're holding space for.
I agree with you on that, but then at the same time, as a man and growing up, I have experiences where I would express my feelings, and then sometimes my feelings would get weaponized against me. I don't know if you have ever been through that.
Yeah, but I want us to focus on her point.
Okay, yeah. Let's focus.
But I think he's
right.
right on the track with it, right? Because he is saying that the reason why that you can't express yourself openly or put your emotions forward is when you chose to do so, they were weaponized.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard that from so many men. They're like, look, once I tell you something, I need you to never ever bring that up again.
Right,
I don't want you to say anything else.
Why'd you
Keep it quiet.
So?
Why do I think what?
Why do you think men say that?
I think it's from experience. I do think they maybe had a bad experience with a female mostly, or someone that they cared about who was really close to them that betrayed their trust. But it's like there's such a thin line between actually having someone betray your trust and then having a person that's able to see what you've openly provided to them, right? To see those things and then reflect it back to you so that you can heal from it. And I think that's where the confusion is, because if you have a woman in your life where she's weaponizing your emotions, let me reiterate: woman, man, friend, family. If there's anybody that weaponizes your emotions, you should indeed separate yourself from them. But you got to recognize what weaponization is versus what constructive criticism is, or some type of redirection, right? So I think that's where the confusion is, because I had a partner that definitely felt like me even bringing up what they said to me was basically breaking the trust that they had or putting it back in their face. And I'm like, I thought this was a safe space for me to be able to tell you, hey, you're doing that thing you said you didn't want to do, you know, or I see you're reacting from a place of trauma that you told me about. Maybe we should work on that, or maybe we should heal that, right?
Yeah. It seemed like you was holding them accountable.
I was.
Okay.
Yeah, very much so. And I think that's where a lot of this thought of honesty comes from, because it's like, are you really being as honest with yourself as you want, you know, for other people to believe that you're being honest about things?
Right.
So piggyback off of that. In my personal beliefs, truth without love would not stick.
Truth without love would not stick.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? And what that means is like, you might want to tell this person something because you love them. You might want to tell this person this thing because you care for them and you want to see a better version of them. But like how you tell them, when you tell them, and the tone you tell them plays a very big part in how they receive that information. And now it doesn't mean that, okay, hey, this person has a wall over them. No, like the simple word communication means
Tone.
a passing of information.
Yeah.
When information is passed, communication is not yet completed. Communication is completed when the person you're passing the information to receives it as intended.
Oh, that is
Okay.
a very
Yes,
different
sir.
perspective.
Yes,
I
sir.
love that because we do stop short of just verbalizing thoughts, verbalizing things to another person. But I love how you explain that because it does matter how it lands on the individual. But men, honestly, I find, especially the damaged men, and don't get me wrong, women as well. So I'm not gonna lean on the men and just make
Please
it like
do.
a
Please.
bash man thing.
Please do not.
But that's what we have you guys for. I want you to give the perspective from a man's view of what you've experienced with a woman that's lacking honesty within herself, because I can only give the experience either as a female or from the perspective of another man that I've experienced. And I just, from my experience, I've run into a lot of men that have their walls up, have their guards up, but does not really understand the full perplexity of like communication, right? But I like how you said that because as a woman, I think just speaking is enough, or just telling you what I think is enough. But how do you encompass the way it lands? Because are we responsible for how they receive what we try to tell them if we're doing it with all good intention?
I don't think. Wait, run that question back.
Are we? But what if your tone is like well intended? What if I'm calm? What if I am articulating properly? What if I'm expressing and being careful about the words that I'm using, and that person still get offended?
So that's what it comes to, the person that you with, basically, because it depends on how they take it.
But that's a good time to, I feel like when situations like that arise, that's a good time to dive deep in it. So it's like, okay, I know this is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
But from your reaction, I see this is how you're receiving it. Now, you have every right to receive it this way, and you have every right to react the way that you're doing. But here's the thing. I just want you to understand my intention of why I said this thing to you now. So let's go away from this is how you're behaving. Why are you so upset that I said this? Now let's go back to, okay, this is what I was really trying to say when I said this. This was my heart's posture when I said this. Now that I've shown you my heart's posture, do you have a better understanding of why I said what I said?
Right.
Sometimes it might come off as, oh, why do I have to say so much to get, this person to see my point? But it's like, we're hard everywhere else. You get what I'm saying? We're already hard at home. I mean, we're already hard outside of the home, right? So like when we come back into the house, like you don't expect us, like just because we walked through the door, that means we're already like, level playing. Part of being level playing is our lady or our partner or our loved ones coming around and being like, okay, we see that, things have been rough. We see that you've probably had a day. So it's kind of how you say, like, as a man, you can buy a house, but it's a lady that really makes the house a home. What does that mean? It means like she's the energy of the house. So that's why you see sometimes some men come home and they just sit in their cars. They don't want to just come into the house with all that
They
type
got
of
decompressed before coming
negative
home.
energy because they'll mess up the energy that's already in the house. So that's just like an example of like the woman is really the main holder of the energy in the house. We can build it, we can make it, cool and everything. But for you to make that place feel like home, I feel like a woman plays a very big role in that.
I truly agree. I definitely agree. I love that you said that because oftentimes people, we have what the gender war is going on right now, and that's a big important thing for me because I'm still in the single world. I am still on the market. Okay, your girl is still looking for a relationship.
Go ahead and shoot y'all shots, y'all. Go ahead and slide her DMs.
Yeah, don't slide too hard. You got to come with standards, okay? I have a level to this, but I do find it difficult to watch us as people go back and forth about who does what and who is important here. But I think the root of that is honesty and being honest with ourselves, because I think there's a level of honesty us women have ownership to as well. But it starts with the head and it starts with the leader. And that's why I lean on the male's perspective so much, because it's like when you change how you are, everything below you or everything after you, right, is also going to change change based on that energy. So as the leader, as the man in society, as we've laid it out to be, you have to have yourself set up well. You have to have honesty. You have to have understanding and guidance and something, some type of distinction, so that the women of society will know these are no longer the standards of us being who we are. We have to change so that we can get the mates that we choose. Right. And then the children follow lead with that as well. And so I think that's why I lean so hard on the men, because it's like, we need you to heal. We need you to look within and be honest. Are you being the man that you say you are? Are you really showing up in a relationship? Are you actually understanding what leadership means? Right? So that brings me to my next question. Is it ego or comfort that keeps men and women from being honest with themselves?
You said ego or comfort?
Ego or comfort?
I feel like for men, it could be both, because it could be comfort to where they feel like they're okay, but they don't have any ambition to go to improve. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Okay, so I feel like when it comes to men, like, we need to be always self-working, always self-improving, always just having ambition and having goals for ourselves. I believe there is a level of content that we need to have, but also I feel like there are sometimes where we have egos to where we feel like we don't have to work on ourselves, or we feel like that we're okay, or that we're all right where we're at. You know what I'm saying? So
do you want to add to that? Like, do you think it's ego or do you think it's comfort?
I think it could be both.
Yeah,
two things could be true at one time.
Yeah, so I'll talk about comfort first.
Mm-hmm.
So people only meet you where you're at.
Right.
Like, the version of me you're seeing now is the version of me you're seeing now. Right?
It's where you at.
Yeah, exactly. So based off of that, I've done a couple things to be, this version of myself. But somebody that you're meeting right now doesn't know the backstory.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But because only you know the backstory, it kind of lets you find inner peace knowing, okay, I've done this amount of work on myself. Let me sit and enjoy where I am right now. Mm-hmm. Let me be happy in myself for this place that I've built for myself right now, mentally, physically, spiritually. Right. But now it's okay to do that, because you don't want to always be like chasing, moving. I must be better. Like, the Bible says sometimes you have to stop and count your blessings. The word stop there is very important.
Right. Amen. And that also leads to burnout too, right? Because like over time, as you keep self-improving, then you keep working, then you don't feel like working anymore. You just stop.
Yeah, and it makes you feel like you're not enough. You need to stop sometimes and be like, hey, the work that I've put in and everything that I've done is enough for me to be very happy with where I am right now. So that comes back to contentment. But now where that ego could come in play is like, I got to keep going for this reason, for that reason. And now whenever people use the word ego, it always comes off as a negative connotation. Mm-hmm. But in reality, your ego also protects you from being disrespected and misused in different situations.
Right, but I think I don't disagree with the fact that it can be a form of protection. If you don't know how to balance that, you would have your guard up with everybody that you run into. You would then be protecting yourself from people that aren't even trying to harm you. Right? So I think that discernment plays a big role in it. You can't just be egotistical, or you can't just be relying on your ego. You have to also understand, okay, can I discern if this person really means well or if they're really trying to harm me? And I think that's what changes the dynamic for me, in my opinion. But also we mentioned God. He doesn't ask us to lean into our ego and our pride. He actually asks and requires the exact opposite of that for that reason, right? Because if we lean into our egos and we lean into our pride too much, then we lose sight of true love. We lose sight of true pure connection and pure intention between the two.
Right.
So I think we have to have a level of balance where your ego would be sufficient here, but it would be inefficient in this area of your life, especially for men.
So when you say the Bible tells us to You say let go of our ego. Now, are you saying have zero ego at all, or just be able to say understand it or regulate it?
I think
Or be
more
humble.
perspective?
Or be humble.
humble yourself.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's more about being humble. But I do think that naturally there's going to be a form of ego in everybody, right? But the level to which you assert that ego is really what's going to change your dynamics in your relationships. So if you're run off your ego alone and it's telling you I'm the man or I'm the woman, it's my world, my way, highway, you won't do this to me, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to not connect with anybody, not be able to see when someone's being truthful with you and honest with you and truly mean the best for you because now your ego runs things, right?
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, too much of anything is a bad thing.
True.
You have to have balance.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. I feel like balance is very important, and I would say balance starts with understanding, goes back to telling yourself the truth and understanding yourself. Yeah. So I do agree.
Okay. Love that.
So my question is, are you listening to your intuition or are you overriding it?
I do both.
Okay. Elaborate.
The only way to break patterns is to cause disruption.
Okay.
You coming with some gems.
Right.
He
Let me
just
go ahead and
dropping
pick
all
these
kind
up.
of gems.
Let me go ahead and pick these up real quick.
We'll go back to like becoming that better version of yourself. The old version of yourself used to do certain things in certain scenarios. What do you need to do to reach that higher version of yourself? You need to do something different than what you were doing before. But based off of when you get to those situations, your intuition is going to be telling you, do it how you used to do it. Do it how you used to do it.
Go back to those old ways.
Go back to that's part of intuition. These are your thoughts. So it's up to you. And these thoughts come from previous situation, traumas, even good things that happen to you sometimes. When I did this way, it was easy for me. But sometimes our God is not an easy God. You know, sometimes he's going to have to put you in the fire to turn you into a diamond.
Okay.
So it's like when it's time to do the hard thing, do you go back to your intuition and be like, no, I'm not, I'm going to stick to the easy thing? Or do you go with the
Push through it and go through the hard,
Yeah.
the hard way.
Because you're not wrong. We indeed need to. I mean, intuition, like you said, it's there to remind us like that's something you've been before, you've experienced that before. So it kind of highlight those red flags for you, or even green flags sometimes. But overriding your intuition, I don't know if people are honestly doing that. I don't think a lot of people are overriding what they're used to because you're going to revert back to your safety mechanism. But if you want to grow, if you want to evolve in life, then you're going to have to say, okay, is this an experience that I'm used to, or is this something that I can probably change how I'm looking at it or how I experience it?
Right.
Your perception.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've gone through phases in life where it was very difficult for me to take correction. And that was because of just how I was used to correction being brought to me. Like a lot of us from African backgrounds, and I say African, we're all African, but like grew up in African countries. You couldn't talk back to your parents. Like your parents couldn't tell you, shut up and do this, and you'd be like, Mom, I think there's a better way to do this. You can't do that.
Right.
So now it's like, now when I have to tell my kids, I don't have any kids, but per
When
se,
you have them.
when you have to tell your kids, hey, shut up and go to school or something, and they're like, but Dad, this and this and this and this, and you're now like, who'd you think you are to be talking back to me? Like, now your child might be doing the right thing in terms of like actually questioning the system. They've not said they're not going to do this. Your partner has not said she's not going to do this or he's not going to do this. But because of that pushback, you start to feel, then your ego starts to arise, and it's like, why are you not doing what I said you should do? Like, why are you not being submissive?
Yeah, why are you not listening to me?
Right. So that's where like those type of situations start to stir up pretty much.
But you really said that about the Nigerian home. I've been in that community for a while now. I absolutely love the African community, but I realize that there is a difference, and not like a drastic one, but there's a difference in our upbringing, right? That pushback that you mentioned. I gave pushback. We might get our whippings and things like that, but we're able to
got my fair
express.
share of
Oh, I definitely got my butt whooped. Okay,
Eh.
it was not planned, but it did not deter me from thinking that I can actually speak up and speak out. And it didn't. I don't think my parents' response was based in ego. I think it was based in maybe like, you're a child. You don't, I don't know what they would call that, but you're a child.
You need to stay in a child's
stay in a
place.
child's place.
It's grown folk business.
Right. And I don't know if that was ego more so than it was just trying to assert authority, right? Like just saying like, look, you don't know what you're talking about. But as far as submission goes and wanting that submission from your children, I tell you to do something, you should just do it.
Yeah, I'm the parent.
I'm the parent.
You're the child.
Ask me
you
nothing.
Listen to me.
It does take away a child's ability to feel secure and free flow of thought.
So, are you confronting reality or negotiating with it?
Ooh.